ready?
Hello and welcome. I'm joined with the childhood legend. It is Mr. Dave Benson Phillips, everybody.
Hello there. Hello. How you doing? You're
Well, welcome to Sandyballs.
It's all right, Bill. Thank you very much for having me.
Is this the first time you've been here?
This is the first time that I've been here. I've got to admit, with a name like Sandyballs, I should have been here years ago.
I know.
Quite frankly, no, this is why I've just turned up. It's amazing.
Yeah, what's your first impressions? What did you think as you came on him?
It's huge. It's jaw-droppingly brilliant. I mean, you know, the accommodation is great. The site's great. Everybody's lovely. There seems to be a cool and very quiet vibe here. So me fitting in, you've all been very forgiving.
No, we love it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Bringing a big personality down into the what's normally a really calm forest.
And I'm having to be really quiet as well because I'm in the forest. There are like trees and everything, and it's all like, we are quiet. And as we go, wow, nature! It's not great.
And it's not uncommon as well for down here. If you are nice and quiet, you see deers and all sorts of animals around.
It's freaky, but you're Sandyballs. I was going to say you're Sandy, but Sandyballs. There's a lot of land, isn't there?
A lot of land, yeah, and a lot of history as well. So obviously, big childhood hero of mine, Mr. Dave Benson Phillips.
Yeah, and I am very big. I'm wearing a very loose t-shirt.
Do you know what I'm really struck by? Obviously I worked with you 10 years ago, and you look the same as you did back then when I remember you watching Get Your Own Back. And now I look at you now, and you still look exactly the same.
Oh, thank you very much.
When I was about 6 years old watching Get Your Own Back.
Thank you very much. Well, it's all down to sort of, the dieting and just looking after myself. Lots of walks everywhere, lots of work, and also holding my stomach in at crucial moments. So when meeting attractive people, I go like that. It's and you wouldn't know. And then as you walk out of view, I do the Homer Simpson thing.
Yeah, I'm doing the belt.
It all inflates. It's not great. It's not great.
So speaking of Get Your Own Back, I've always wanted to know one thing.
Yeah, and the answer is no. You don't know what the secret of the gunge is, and I'm not going to tell you what the secret of the gunge is.
Because I've asked you before, and I knew you were lying. You said school dinners, and that's what they always used to say on Get Your Own Back.
I used to say that, but do you know what? It got to the point where people have been sending me recipes for their gunge and saying, is this right? Is this not right? So now I just say to everybody, it's a huge secret. In fact, when I did an Edinburgh Fringe Festival about 3 or 4 years ago, we actually had some biochemists stop by.
Really?
Edinburgh, genuine Edinburgh biochemists who came along, and sort of one distracted me by saying hello and being very pretty, and as she was talking to me, her mate was literally going in with a test tube and a spatula to take it away.
Stealing your slime.
But I'm telling you,
so they can
to have a look.
Yeah.
To actually have a look and break it down. They actually sent out somebody to do.
Because one of our most popular activities here with the children is we got an activity called Sand and Slime. So in there we make 2 different types of slime, and some of that kinetic sand and things like that.
Yes.
So I was hoping maybe you could give me your secret get your own back recipe, and then we could.
Well, I would do. I mean, I'd mix it for you.
It used to be all great colours and all sorts of.
We could do all the great colours. We could do different thicknesses. Yeah. We have different looks on it. I mean, to the point of whereby we haven't done Get Your Own Back for a while, but every now and again I get used, or my expertise, as you will, gets used for the odd horror film. So depending on your budget, so I can make sort of like blood spats. Sort of gunshot wound, like that.
So you've gone from children's TV to horror consultancy.
My best one is I did for a low budget horror film. I did literally a river of gunge. So what happened was they had to open the door. Yeah. And basically through the door came a load of blood, and it was just me, just like 3 or 4 days mixing gunge and mixing blood, the kind of blood that they wanted, and it kind of looked like a resemblance of tomato sauce and daddy sauce.
Right, okay.
And then this brown sort of congealed thing going along, and then it had to catch the light properly, and then we had to colour it in edit and everything else. And it was great, and I mixed up, I must have been about, I think that was a couple of 1,000 litres, that one.
Really? Who'd have thought gunge would be so complicated?
But it's really funny because it has led on to other things. So gunge, mess, slapstick, specialty tricks. I mean, we do things like every now and again, like when you do spots like that.
Like
we could do, we sit off with a little syringe
and
on a mirror. So we could even get it down to that. So
if you were going to get your own back on someone in your life, I'm sure you've been asked it a million times, but who'd you get your own back on?
Do you know something, Bill? I've got to say, the list is ever expanding and it changes constantly. If, like, from people that I've known from my childhood and my past, to teachers, to the odd celebrity, the odd politician as well.
Yeah.
So it's been at the moment, Prime Minister Bojo. He can be up for some.
Yeah, he's up.
And
Boris
Donald Johnson.
Trump.
Yeah.
We'll have to get them in the gun strap, won't we?
I met Donald Trump years ago.
Really?
Yeah, way before he became a president. And there was. Yeah.
Was you on American Apprentice?
No, I wasn't. I was out there to interview him for American Apprentice.
Yeah.
And he thought I was the waiter.
No way.
And that's all I'm saying.
Oh my
God! It was a very awkward
bet.
moment trying to convince this man that actually I wasn't there to serve him drinks, but I was there to interview him. And in the end, I looked at the director, who I wanted him to speak on my behalf, and in the end he said, "I'll have a gin and tonic, young man." And that's how it all fell apart. Yeah.
Love it. I've got one last thing, Dave, because when I started off in children entertainment, I found it. I always found it a little bit. I got a bit shy and things like that.
What, you?
Yeah, and I was told to go home and like YouTube Dave Benson Phillips and YouTube like all these other people who used to present for children's TV.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like if you had someone that you turned to get inspiration, because obviously you've been a staple now for children's TV for what, decades? It's got to be, because you're still doing it now. You recently just lent your voice to as well to the new animated Mr. Bean series.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. I've done my research. There you go.
It's more than what the trolls do.
Yeah, and that was another thing. You were victim to the old internet trolls at some point as well.
Didn't work for 10 years. They thought I was dead.
Yeah.
So I didn't work for 10 years.
How do you, obviously, because being famous, you must get people, Dave Benson Phillips want to hug you all the time because your childhood memories were probably most houses in Britain.
Well, there was a lot of people said, Dave Benson Phillips, I thought you were dead. So there was loads of that, but I mean that's a very standard story. But we've got over that now. So people now pick up the phone. I get asked to work, I write scripts and stuff, and I make the odd appearance. So I've done, like you say, Mr. Bean, the animated series, Danny and Mick for CBBC, and all the bits. So tips. Now that's an interesting thing, because I was a child of television. So I was brought up in the 1970s. As it were, and that's when I had my childhood. So I was looking at programs like Play School and Play Away. So you had the greats in my day were Derek Griffiths, who was one of the few black people who were on television at the time, Floella Benjamin, who of course is now Baroness Floella Benjamin, and she was another person that I watched, and I used to watch those programs obsessively because they were funny and they were all performing, and that's what I wanted to do, not realising this was all an education. So I kind of gleaned bits from these great people, and then from other people. Another person that I used to watch, who was a huge influence on me, was Sir Bruce Forsyth.
Oh really? Yeah, good old Bruce.
He had the Generation Game. Yeah. And he was. We've
got the Generator Game over there.
Yes, we have. And he's doing a very good job being nice and quiet. But the thing was, I remember watching him and watching the way that he was around people, and that was half the battle when you learn to be an entertainer of children. Yes, you're right. You need to know your audience, and the first thing that everybody says is never talk down to your children. And in fact, you know what? Best thing you do is you talk to the children. Children will fathom whether they understand you or they love you or not. But to talk down to them...
They're very honest, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very honest. And the thing about it is that you have to be honest to a certain degree. When I was entertaining children when I first started, sir, I was not much older than the children that I entertained. So that was always a weird thing. I mean, I started my business, I must have been... about 14 years old. I was at the Polka Theatre in Wimbledon.
That young?
I was that young.
That's probably why you look young to me then, now, because started young, still young.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. And now I'm going to let my stomach out gradually. But it's an extraordinary thing. So from that point of view, talking to children was great. And when, it was really odd as well when you're a kid at high school, and some of the kids got Saturday jobs, but my Saturday job was going into working men's clubs and children's parties, and taking a guitar and some magic tricks, and having delusions of adequacy, as it were, and going in and entertaining the kids. So there's lots of things. I would say watch loads of television and just be honest about yourself and say, look, I'm going to do this magic trick, I'm going to play this guitar, hope you like it. The children will let you know whether they like things or not, and when they talk to you. So that's it. There's not much to say, and also don't mind being silly.
Exactly, I think that's the key, isn't it?
That's the thing that I do. Do you play a musical instrument?
No, I don't play a musical instrument. But for me at the time, I felt silly. When I was.
All children's entertainers have to learn a musical instrument, and I'm
a magician, really. That's so musician, magician.
See that now? You see, the magic was the thing I couldn't do.
Yeah.
There's one routine that I love and I still do to bits.
Yeah.
And it makes me smile. And it was my money maker and what I was known for. And it was from Repro Magic, which was this magic shop just on the edge of Clapham in London. A guy called Jeff Maltby used to run it. And it was called the Lovely Duck Routine or the Lucky Duck Routine.
Okay.
And it was a little shed, and in this shed lived the duck. All right, the duck was made out of wood. Everything was wooden about this. And the duck, well, he was my friend. And I would feed him and eat him and love him and everything. And there was this cat that have you run out? You have. And there was this cat that all the kids had to look out for. This nasty cat was trying to eat him. So yeah, and I forgot that the cat was in the house. And I put the bird back in the house, and there's a kerfuffle going on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I have a word with the cat. Put the cat away, and then all of a sudden there's an egg. I'm sort of shortening this up, and inside the egg there's and it's the greatest trick.
That's how it's been.
It's great, and it was my money maker, and this was for little children and stuff. And I can remember sort of doing different versions of it. And that, yeah. So my magic is very clunky, you know. It's a bit like
so's mine.
Yeah, I'm looking. Look, here's a bit of magic. Look here. My sleight of hand was rubbish.
That's it.
But the thing is, with the guitar, I was able to play. So children's entertainers, if you do play a musical instrument, one that you can engage with the children, because a lot of children, believe it or not, despite the fact that you have all of these talent shows and everything else, that they see very few people in their lives actually playing a musical instrument. And it's a very bizarre thing. So yeah, so if you're a children's entertainer,
makes the world go round, right?
It does. So if you're an entertainer, and if you entertain children, have an instrument that you can play: a guitar, a ukulele, an ocarina, a euphonium, anything.
Triangle.
Even that. I mean,
there we go.
I'll be down at Sandyballs.
Hey Dave, you're welcome here anytime. We love having you. Massive personality here at Sandyballs. Ladies and gentlemen, our DJ for today and our Colour Festival 2019, Mr. Dave Benson Phillips, everybody!
I like everything. I'm sorry.